Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast,
your go-to destination for a unique blend of recovery and discovery.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Mark. And in this podcast, we will endeavor to create a safe and uplifting space for our guests and listeners to share their stories with sincerity and a touch of humor.
Remember, we are not a Glum Lot. The Glum Lot Podcast is more than just a source of entertainment. It's a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, recovery is possible. Every story we share carries the power to inspire positive change.
So buckle up, get ready to listen, and join us in discovering the strength that lies within every individual's journey. This is the Glum Lot Podcast, where humor meets hope. All right, Mr. Brett, welcome to episode 95 of the Glum Lot Podcast.
Man, we are closing in.
We are closing on the century mark.
Yeah.
We want to remind our listeners to please join our Facebook group at the Glum Lot Podcast on Facebook, and also contact us at the Glum Lot Podcast at gmail.com if you have ideas for a guest, or you want to be a guest, or you have comments or questions about the show.
Yeah.
So, hey, today I thought we'd talk about something that's kind of interesting in that a lot of times, especially early in sobriety, when someone will say, "Hey, how you doing?"
I'm fine. I know what you're already going with.
Yes.
I'm fine.
And so fine, F-I-N-E, is frustrated, insecure, needy, and enraged.
All right, so I got to say what it really is.
Go ahead.
Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
All right, well, that's
but that works.
That's the R-rated version.
Yes,
I'm
well,
giving
that's
you
what
the
I like.
G-rated version.
Yes, thank you.
So there's nothing wrong with saying fine. After all, I'm reading this out of Paul Kosak, who was actually on the show, wrote a book called One Page at a Time.
Yeah, you can find it on Amazon if you look him up.
And so in Paul's book, it says there's nothing wrong with saying you're fine. After all, it would be awkward and off-putting to reveal deep secrets or challenges to mere acquaintances or colleagues. Nevertheless, we're only as sick as our secrets, as the saying goes. We're not always fine. No one is.
That's right.
And that's just fine.
And man, I probably, at least, God, it's got to be 2 or 3 times a week. I quote that.
Yeah. Well, the easiest
people.
thing to do is to say, I'm fine.
Yeah, because
that
way,
way
keep them off your back.
You can ignore
Yeah.
the way you really are, any problems really. But it is, we learned in AA that we have to talk about.
If I'm being completely honest, I do it quite a bit with you even. If I'm sitting here thinking about that and I'll lay it out, I do it too. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that ain't always the truth.
And that's the thing is, like, nobody's always good.
Right.
Right? And I always say this too, is that everybody needs help sometimes. Everybody.
It's an REM song.
Yeah. Everybody hurts. Everybody hurts sometimes. But, rich, poor, successful, unsuccessful,
Jail
whatever.
to Yale.
Everybody needs help. The difference is in our program, we encourage you to reach out and get that help. And if you do reach out, I can guarantee you will get help.
Yeah, or we'll let you know where to find it, too.
Yes. And then another great thing about that is when somebody is talking to you and you can give them help, that helps us.
Oh.
Helping others is the greatest help for ourselves.
Such a good feeling.
It?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody who has made the 12 steps their way of life is found and does still find that helping others is one of the keys to growth, serenity, and success.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what I told you after the meeting Thursday night. I had an unbelievable evening because of that. You know, it's amazing. I'm not in myself. I'm helping others. What else, right? There's nothing else. Step 12.
'Tis the way it is.
That's a good topic.
For us in the
That made me think.
Yeah. Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, I know. Well, it made me realize, let me say that.
All right.
Good one on
you.
you.
Let's get to our guest. From what I understand, our guest arrived here in the studio after just doing a speakers meeting where she was the speaker for the first time in her life.
Yeah.
And we'll get to hear a little bit about that, too.
Yeah, I was very excited about that, and I was like, well, because she reached out and told me that she was speaking tonight, and I was really excited but really disappointed at the same time because, well, we had another guest and we were recording. But so I was like, you know what? We got 8 o'clock. And she was like,
we can do that.
Yeah, so she agreed to it. So we're really excited to welcome
Michelle. Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
There you go. You did it.
Glad to have you here. Hey, we'd like to start with your sobriety date.
5/9/24.
5/9/24. Brett, do the math for me here.
That is, we're just over 13 months. Almost 13 months. Yes, almost 13 months.
Okay, good.
So
yeah.
that's pretty
you just
awesome.
You just got your 1 year chip.
Got
Yes,
some heavy metal.
Pretty sweet. And we also like to start at the beginning. So if you could tell us about your experience, your first experience with the effects of drugs and or alcohol.
Like the first time you did it,
Yeah.
you got all the details.
I think I was like 13.
Oh.
Because my sister's older, so I think I was 13. I stole a bottle of Crown Royal from my
Oh.
parents' basement.
Classy.
Yeah, right.
You're a classy 13-year-old.
Wow.
It's the purple pouch.
No, it was in the stand.
Oh,
Oh, shit. You are classier than I have even anticipated. The stand where you pour it with the stand?
So
Nice.
that's what I found in the basement. So I took it. I remember taking it, and then where we used to live over there was
Yeah.
a path.
Yep.
We used to have a store there, and then there was a path. So we used to drink back in that path. So we drank it with orange soda
oh my God.
Crown Royal orange soda, my favorite drink.
because that's all we had.
Did you catch a buzz?
Crown
I
and
think
Crush.
we were all sick. I was sick.
You all
Oh.
puked?
Yeah.
So you drank too much of it. Do you remember with the buzz?
No.
No,
all
you
just
just remember
horrible.
drinking it and puking?
Yeah.
Just makes you want to go back and do it again, doesn't it?
No.
Well, what happened from that first time? I mean, how did you pick it back up again after that?
Just being around my friends, you know.
Yeah, was it that age where everybody starts experimenting?
Yeah. There was a store there. We used to go to the store, and right when you walk out the door, they always had the 2020 wine coolers right there at the door. So
Oh, Mad Dog? Was it Mad Dog 2020? Or was it just called 2020?
yeah, it was just called 2020.
So would you
Yeah.
guys swipe them
Yeah, and go and drink them.
and go back on the path?
Yeah.
Jesus, the
I
path.
had a path.
I had a path too.
Yeah.
It was for smoking cigarettes, then it was for smoking
Certain
weed. then it was
magazines
for
that were dug
drinking.
down into the ground.
Right. The porn stash.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you had that too, huh?
Fantastic.
You don't know where the path is over there?
No, I meant the porn in the path.
Oh, no.
Oh, we all walk our own path.
That's right.
Yeah, like when you're a kid and you want to get away from your parents,
Yeah.
at least when I grew up, it was hard to hide stuff in the house. I mean, I grew up in a small house, but you always had a path. You'd have to cut through the bushes, and then there'd be like a path back there. It was totally hidden by bushes and foliage.
It was
Not
a
at my
sacred-
parents' house.
No?
No.
It was a sacred place, though.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was where you went to be bad. You know.
No.
So,
I'll meet you at the path. You know. What do you think you can get? I think I can get a little wine.
meet me at the path.
My brother gave me some weed. I'll meet you at the path.
Yeah, so that's what we used to do.
Yeah, we all did that.
And then I threw it out when I was done because we couldn't get the bottle off of the...
Oh, the stand?
Oh my God!
So, did you guys drink the whole thing? Oh my God! You drank to completion.
And then when
so
we,
to speak.
when me and my sister graduated high school, my father was looking for the bottle.
Oh, he wanted to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Where's that bottle of Crown Royal I had on a swingy stand down here?" And you're like, "I don't know."
Oh, I told him it was gone.
Oh shit! So he knew by then.
Oh, he knew.
Oh,
He was
my
also
God.
wondering where his Orange Crush was.
Now, yeah. Did you guys smoke weed on the path?
I did. My sister wasn't really
Into it?
No, she wasn't really doing drugs or drinking. My sister was high on life. It was annoying.
Oh, good
weird.
for her.
To
Good
see
for her.
something like
Bullshit.
that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny how we all start out as doing these devious little things because part of the rush is like being bad, you know, or being mature, trying to be mature,
Right.
out on the path and hiding it, but feeling like we're cool. You know, you feel like you've arrived.
Yeah.
And your life starts to revolve around pulling shit like that. You know what I mean? You start stealing stuff. Little convenience stores, parents. I remember stealing cigarettes from my dad.
Cigarettes,
Stealing
yeah.
beer from my dad's stash. And
I never liked beer, so we didn't steal
Yeah.
beer.
well, if you're a dude,
I mean, and
I
you're
didn't.
on Crown,
When I was a kid, like 13, drinking beer,
Yeah.
I didn't like the taste of it.
but it
But
was
I had to
guy
be cool.
thing.
I had to
Yeah.
be cool. You know.
Only beer we used to drink was OV Splits.
Oh,
Did
nice.
you say Old Spice?
OV Splits.
Oh, I think you said Old. I'm like, holy shit, you guys were hardcore.
Nah.
I'm drinking this Old Spice. It's got alcohol in it.
That's that Jamaican stuff.
Oh, he splits. So, you start pursuing this kind of behavior just as a normal kid thing, right?
Yes.
Everybody's doing it.
But I liked smoking pot instead.
Yeah, that was your thing?
Yeah, that was my thing.
Okay. So at the time when you smoked pot, did you usually drink while smoking pot? Or?
I would, but then I learned that I couldn't because then you get the spins.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And then it would make me sick.
You don't want to get sick.
So I would just do one or the other.
But did you like the escape of smoking weed?
Yes, at that time I did.
So you were smoking weed obviously for effect.
Yeah.
You like the effect it had on you. Mm-hmm. Did you start smoking it more often? Did you start getting high in school and that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys can see the smile.
Did it start to have an effect on your grades and your schoolwork and all that?
No, because you know what? The one rule was we had to graduate high school. So for me to get through high school, even though I did drugs and all that, was I always did my homework so I knew I was going to pass. Because I didn't go to school. Like, any chance I got to skip school, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other drugs besides weed?
Acid, mushrooms.
Oof.
Okay, so
cocaine.
Psychedelics. Well, this is all in high school?
Yes.
You were a troubled youth. But I'll bet a lot of other kids were too, right?
Yes.
In school?
Yes.
I mean, and you find your people.
I did.
Right? You hang out with them.
Yes.
And so drinking's a part of this?
Yes.
Yeah. But do you do graduate?
I did graduate.
Any other consequences, legal or otherwise, from your high school behavior?
I got caught in school when I was 15 with pot.
What happened? Did they call the cops or anything? They just call your
No,
parents?
because I was 15. I didn't get arrested.
Would have been a big waste of time.
But it wasn't mine. It was my friend's. But
Sure.
I was just holding it.
she wouldn't take it out of my hand when the lady busted us because she would have got arrested and I didn't because I was 15. She was 16.
So you took the hit and you didn't sing.
No.
Right. Nice.
But I got suspended for 5 days, so I was okay with that.
Yeah. You got high for 5 days.
Well, my mother really didn't know what.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mother was kind of
oblivious to it?
Yeah.
And she didn't grow up with it?
No.
Yeah.
No, my mother's never done drugs in her life, ever. But my aunt is this hippie that's her sister and has done pot and stuff like that, and I don't know why my mother doesn't know anything about it.
Weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
She just...
Or just doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, she don't even know the smell. I'm like, wow.
Jeez.
So, but you do graduate from high school?
I did.
Where do you go from there?
I went to college.
What happened in college with your drinking and drug use? Did it ramp up?
No, not at college because I didn't really have any friends. I just went to class, came home,
Really?
had two part-time jobs,
So did your
busy.
drug use and your alcohol use kind of calm down at this point in your life?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what point does it pick back up?
It didn't for a while because then I met a guy at 17, started dating, whatever. 18, I got pregnant, just had my baby. When I turned 19 and 10 days later I had my baby. So I feel like from about 17 and a half till after I had my baby, I wasn't doing anything.
So when you were pregnant, you didn't do anything?
No, quit smoking, everything.
Wow.
Everything made me sick.
It's
I'll tell you,
amazing.
there's something about being a mom that people will stop an addiction for 9 months.
Yeah.
And then they pick it right back up.
Obviously not
after.
everybody, but
Right, but
just
a lot
about
of people.
everybody we've talked to so
Yeah.
far, that has been the case.
Yeah,
My doctor told me I could have a drink while I was pregnant.
Yeah, then, yeah.
He's like, yeah, you can have one drink. Well, I had one drink, and I couldn't stop throwing up.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that was
Maybe that was a
pointless.
blessing. Maybe that was your baby going, you can't drink when you're freaking pregnant. What, are you
Exactly.
crazy?
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
So, yeah, I didn't do it for a while. And then I had my baby, and I didn't drink or want to go out or anything. But then, after a few months or whatever, I'd get out once a month.
Yeah.
Go out with the girls?
Yeah, friends.
Get lit up?
Yeah, but I was a binge drinker.
Okay.
Yes.
So you'd go out every once in a while and just
Once
get
a month.
hammered?
Yeah. When I drank, I didn't stop. Back then I used to drink kamikazes or rum and coke or whatever, but I wouldn't have one or two. I'd have 13 of them.
So if you were going to drink,
was
you were going to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd be sick.
Yeah. But that was your plan, right? You knew
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
Because I knew I wasn't getting out again for a month or two. So
You wanted to get it all in?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you weren't like, well, I'm going to have one or two tonight, and then it would go all the way. You
No.
knew you were getting...
yeah. Because I was around people that were
Okay.
That drank like
drunks.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It certainly doesn't help.
No.
You know?
And I was young. Like, I'd be lucky if I could get in a bar because I wasn't old enough.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So a lot of times when I got in a bar, it's because they didn't ask me for ID that night. And the next time I try to go back to the same bar, they'd be like, "Where's your ID?" Well, you're not old enough. You can't get in here. So I got kicked out of a lot of bars.
Yeah, did you feel like you had to get it in while you could?
Yes.
And so you had what the kids call today FOMO, fear of missing out. So you're like, I got to go because I got to drink now because I don't want to. I might not be able to do it again.
I've never heard that.
FOMO.
Yeah.
And my daughter says it all the time.
No,
I don't really want to go to this, but FOMO.
Jesus.
Yeah, I could relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all felt that way. We'd all, I remember going, I used to go out by myself, go out drinking to bars by myself, get the clubs and stuff. I'd go out by myself.
Wow.
I'd have a couple drinks, and I'd smoke a half a joint or something on the way, and I'd get there by myself, and I'd always end up doing something, meeting someone, or somebody would come in that I knew, or it was like an adventure. When you start out, that whole chaos thing is part of the excitement of going out, not knowing what's going to happen. It was like a draw,
Yeah, I did that in my later 20s.
So you drank to blackout. Were there any stories of...
I didn't black out.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay.
She drank to puke out.
Yeah.
Oh,
13 kamikazes
okay.
would not make
well,
her
darn,
black out.
I was
She's
looking
tough.
forward to some stories of I woke up and,
I woke up in the belly of a Chinese junk with a 13-year-old hooker.
Oh, my God.
Laying in a puddle of my own sick.
You see his brain?
I always made it home.
Yeah,
Might
you
not
made
have
it
made-
home.
Might have not made it in the house,
Did
but
you
I made
drive?
it home.
Did you drive?
No.
So you didn't drive drunk?
No. A lot of the bars were like near my house. I could walk.
Oh, right.
Well,
Yeah.
that was at least safer. So do you notice a pattern to your drinking at this point? Like, I don't drink all the time, but when I do take a drink,
I was a binge drinker. I know I was a binge
off
drinker.
the hook,
Yes,
right.
I was.
And so did you feel like when you went out and you were going to drink, did you feel like I better to either take somebody with me to babysit me, or I better be close enough to home where even in a really bad condition I can make it home?
She didn't.
Or did you just throw caution to the wind?
She was in it to win it.
But I was fine. Like, I always made it home. I feel like I knew what I was doing.
At
whatever.
any point during this, did the thought ever occur to you that normal people don't drink like this?
No, I did not know that.
Wasn't there?
Because most of the people you knew did, right?
Yes. So that's why I was like, it was normal for me to see that because that's how they drank.
And once you had a child, how did this? Did you only go out drinking when you were sure you weren't going to have to be responsible for your child?
Yes.
So you had this. You were managing your life.
I had to because, then I don't want to be hungover the next day and take care of a baby and have to go to work
That's
and
a
this
lot.
and that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was too much.
So you had it planned out pretty good,
yes.
and you were pulling it off.
I was.
Right? Did that change?
It changed when I got pregnant again at 22 and had a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got 2 kids.
Now I got 2 kids.
Okay, so what happened?
It made it harder to go out
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
my son was not a good infant and nobody would watch him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there was no drinking at home, and I was living with their father at the time.
Okay.
And he was a big drinker.
Gotcha.
So-
So you had to kind of pick up slack and...
Yeah, he was just,
Was it the kind of a thing where he was drinking, you knew you couldn't drink because somebody had to have it together?
I had to have it together.
Yeah.
Because, I ended up having to quit my job because, I'd get a babysitter, they quit. I had a lot of babysitters that quit on me because they wouldn't watch my son.
Because he was challenging.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did your drinking progress from there?
It really didn't for a while until I got older.
Like how old?
I don't know. So that was 22 when I had him. So I'm trying to think of what year that was.
Just generally, were you early 30s or?
1996. I got a job at the casino.
Okay, you get a job at a casino. Your kids are a little older at this point, right?
Yeah.
Old enough to take care of themselves or no?
No.
Oh.
One was
Sorry.
one was 6, and the other one was.
So did you have a babysitter at this point, or was your husband home watching while you were working?
No. His mother would come and watch the kids.
They were playing
2
tricks.
nights a week.
Gams would come over and watch the kids.
Yeah, 2 nights a week.
Okay.
Because my son was starting to get a little better.
Yeah.
So she'd come over 2 nights a week to watch the kids.
And you're working at the casino, and does your drinking take a turn?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about it.
So when I first started there, I worked grave shift.
Yeah,
So
like
it's 4 in the
overnights?
morning. No, I worked 4 in the morning till noon.
Oh, shit.
So at noon, when we get out of work,
Jeez.
we'd all go to the bar at noon
Yeah.
and then drink, and then I'd come home.
So you drive
Wow.
home. You drive home?
Mm-hmm.
So you drive drunk. Did you ever get popped for that?
No.
Woof.
I never did either.
Me
I
either.
got away with it.
But
I
it was
can't
a case
believe,
of not yet. Trust
looking
me.
back, I can't
I didn't
believe.
either.
I got pulled over.
I
for,
did
I got
too.
speeding tickets, but they never knew I was drinking.
Yeah.
And I got a speeding ticket in Oneida,
all the way down the thruway from the
Yes,
casino.
the thruway.
You got speeding tickets.
Yeah, I got speeding tickets.
Yeah.
For a lot of years.
So now you're drinking.
So that was
now,
like 2 nights a week.
but let me ask you this though. So you go to the bar at noon and drink, but would you drink to excess? Would you binge drink at noon?
Like you used to.
No, because I knew I had to drive.
So you're still like managing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And-
Now, were there any drugs
No.
going on? No.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Nobody there, they didn't do drugs.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we were just drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that for 3 years. It was only 2 days a week because I only worked 2 days a week. So
Yeah.
So what happens to your drinking during this period besides your after work drinking? Did you still go out?
And your speeding problem.
No, I didn't really go out.
Okay, so you're still living a pretty
Yeah.
I had a weekend boyfriend.
chill. Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, only on weekends because during the week I just did the children. So I
Yeah.
made sure during the week I get everything done. Made sure I had food cooked.
Husband's
laundry
gone by
done.
now?
He was way gone.
Okay, I was just
When
curious
my
if it was a
son-
weekend boyfriend. Well,
Yeah, no, he
That's
was.
all.
I got a weekday husband and a weekend boyfriend.
No, he was gone after I had my son. I can tell you a story about him. I was just telling them.
let's hear it.
So he was a big drinker, and when we lived together, we only lived together for about 10 months. We moved in May, and then my son was born in September. So now we're coming up to like April of the following year. And his mother called me. She's like, oh, he got arrested. He's in jail. And I said, he ain't in jail. Well, he was in jail. So back then in 1995, they redid the public safety building. I don't know if you know the jail
Yeah.
down in Syracuse, whatever. They redid it. And so every cop was out that night looking for the first person to book in that jail.
Oh, they were all hot on it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's a competition?
Yeah, and he was the first person booked in the
Oh,
jail.
what an honor.
How about that?
Yeah, look at me, huh?
Man,
Yeah.
nice.
They made fun of him on the radio,
Oh,
the TV. He was in the newspaper.
wow.
So embarrassing.
Celebrity.
Yikes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So while
It's
he was in
embarrassing.
jail, I took the kids and I moved out. I was done. It was the second DWI. Now what are you going to help me? How are you going to help me? Now we got 2 kids. You can't help me do anything.
And you're very public now.
Yeah.
So-
It's so annoying.
At what point did your drinking take such a turn that it became a problem? I mean, it was already a problem, but...
I don't always say that. I don't even think I had a drinking problem.
Ah.
Because I could be one that would drink or not drink. I was more of a drug person.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But then once I had the kids and stuff, I wasn't, like, once a year I might have done Coke.
Yeah.
Just, that's that, once a year.
Special occasion.
Yeah. But I always did it by myself. Nobody knew. Like, I would just buy it, do it by myself. I was like, oh, okay. But I don't really think I took too much to the drinking.
Yeah. Well, when did shit go bad?
When I got older.
Okay.
Because, like, in my 30s, I was just telling them when I was speaking, is in my 30s, I had cancer by the time I was 31. So for a lot of years, I'm sick. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing, I'm taking prescription drugs that my doctor gave me because it was years of trying to deal with my cancer. And then after I was feeling better, I would have a couple, go out and have a couple drinks and stuff because I felt like I should still be able to have some fun after that.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't binge drink like I normally was. I was just like, I just didn't do it. And then by 2009, I had cancer again. So it was like, not that was only 6 years in between having cancer again.
Goodness.
So that was rough, but
What brought you into AA?
doing crack.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
well, that'll do it.
Yep.
So you got to a point in your life where you tried crack, you become addicted to it pretty quickly? And then do you start like just jonesing for it all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you end up seeking treatment? And what was the process for you?
Okay, so in 2019, my parents used to go to Florida every year for winter. So that year they were coming back, and they were at the rest stop, and my father lifted his leg and tried to step on the curb, but he fell on my mother and shattered her knee.
Ooh.
So now my mother's driving back from Binghamton. Now she's going to the hospital. Now they're putting her knee back together. Now she can't walk on it. So I have a ranch house. She don't. She's like, we're moving in.
Uh-oh.
So my parents moved in.
And you're actively a crack smoker at this point?
Not yet.
Boy, rough parents.
Not yet.
All right.
So they were there like a month or so, and I was like, I got to go out. So I went to the bar by myself because I was like, I have to get out of there. I can't.
Yeah.
Like, they were driving me crazy. So I'm at the bar, and I run into this guy that I went to elementary school with. So we start drinking together, whatever, and I bring him back to my house, whatever, and we're just drinking and everything. And then he's like, pulls out
Pipe.
The rock?
Yeah. And he's like, do you want some? I'm like, no, I don't want any, whatever. And then I see him do it, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And then as soon as I tried it, I was like, fuck. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew that I liked that feeling.
People say that.
Yeah.
And I knew.
The first time you smoke it, you can become addicted to it.
I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
How quickly did that spiral? Like
Well,
weeks?
No, because the only way I could do it is if I hung out with this guy.
Okay.
And I really didn't like him that much. So.
But you like what he had.
Yeah. So it was like.
You liked his pipe?
Yeah. That was about it.
Rat.
That was about it.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah. So I had to hang out with him a little bit more. And then sometimes I could go a month or so without it.
Really?
And then I'd be like, oh, shit, now I need to call him to see,
You know, people say that, like, it calls you.
It does.
Like, you can't
It's
get
that-
away from it. It's such a fucking weird, addictive feeling, right?
Yeah.
You just chase it.
That's exactly it. Because when I had some, whatever, I chased the high.
Yeah.
I had to keep chasing it. And some people don't chase it. They just can have...
Yeah.
a puff of it, and they'd be like, oh, I'm fine, whatever, because they drink alcohol with it. I couldn't
yes.
drink alcohol with it because it made me throw up.
Oh.
So I would just chase the high, chase that. And I was like, I can't drink with it because then I don't feel good. I don't know, it just did something to my stomach.
Did it get to the point with smoking crack where you just had to have it?
Yes.
Tell us about how that goes down.
Well,
like the feelings.
He gave me his hookup, so now I don't have to talk to him anymore. I got my own hookup.
Yeah.
And then when my daughter moves out of my house and everything, I let some guy move in my house, and he gave me his hookup too. So now I got 2 hookups.
Man.
So I'm like, oh, I don't need anybody anymore. I can just do this by myself, because I didn't like to do it with people, because then you got to share. Nobody wants to share.
Right. So you just wanted to chase that effect.
Yes.
And
I want to sit in my room by myself.
And just experience it.
Yeah, and just sit on the ground.
And if there's anybody else there, not only do you have to share with them, but then you have to sit there with them and listen to their bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
I just want to enjoy my high.
Because when you get high like that, you're numb and everything, but you're paranoid.
No.
That paranoia, that any little noise you're like, that's the feeling I didn't like. Because it was never like I was alone. Like, my granddaughter would be knocking on my bedroom door. My daughter would be knocking on the fucking door. Like, I'd be dropping shit all over the floor. And anybody knows crackheads, like, always think they dropped it. And that's all they do is look on the floor to find it. Oh, my God, it's insane.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
There's a certain psychosis that goes with it, I think. You know what I mean?
It's like you're literally insane.
Yeah. Did you? So you got to the point where you didn't have a choice, right? You had to have it.
I wanted it, it, but I like didn't do it. Like when I worked, obviously I'm not doing it, but I'd make sure after I get out of work, because like the one guy lived right near my work, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. He can meet me right at my work. He can meet me right down the road, and then when I get home out of work, there I go. Nobody's home. I can do it until nobody, until they come home.
Why you wanted this stuff so bad?
I didn't want to feel.
What were you feeling?
I didn't want to think. I didn't want to feel anything.
Nothing?
I just wanted to be
Just
numb.
life in general? Like
Yeah.
everything that had gone on in your life,
Yeah,
you just wanted to escape?
I didn't really have a life. Like, I wasn't, like, living or anything. I just...
Well, you've been very busy from, like, 18 years old on with kids. And...
I know, but I just felt like I didn't... You know, losing my father was hard.
Yes.
It just... I spiraled.
Yeah.
I spiraled. I wanted it more and more and more. And now I got a roommate in my house that I didn't realize he was that bad of a druggie. He drank all the alcohol in like a month at my house. And the whole refrigerator in the garage was filled of alcohol that people would leave over the summer that me and my daughter never drank.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he drank it all.
Gotcha.
And then I had bottles I never even opened that were mine. And one day when I went to go have one drink, I was like, what the hell happened to my alcohol? He drank all of it.
Wow.
Even my mother's. I'm like, my mother leaves alcohol here. And he drank it. It was peach schnapps, for God's sakes.
Oh, there it
he
is again.
He drank it.
So when you were saying your parents hadn't moved in yet, right? And then, so they did move in.
They did move in.
Okay, and so that's tough. Right.
Yeah, they were there 7 months till I kicked my mother out.
Oh my gosh! After 3 days, sometimes you're like, that's enough. So mom gets better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
I told her to go home.
Oh, okay.
Her and my father, they need to go home.
Did your parents know that you were actively smoking crack? You hit it.
My mother doesn't know.
So you hit everything.
Yeah, my mother doesn't.
And you kind of didn't even need to. That's how oblivious your mother was to.
Yeah, she don't know what.
Yeah.
That is.
So they move out. You got this new roommate. You're smoking, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think Sam knew. Sam knew and didn't know.
Your daughter.
Yeah. She knew and didn't know and stuff like that. And she just would say something to me once in a while, but then you lie.
Oh, of course we do. Of course we do.
You lie. My son caught me once. I was in my car doing it.
Damn.
But he scared the shit out of me.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm sitting in my car, whatever. I didn't even know he was coming over, right? And all of a sudden he's there and he's like, hey. And I dropped it. And I was like, that bastard. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm smoking my marijuana. Get the fuck out of here.
It's funny
and
how.
I didn't even know if and he's
right.
like, and he's, then before when he's like, when they found out I was really doing it, he's like, I knew that wasn't marijuana. I'm like, well, then why didn't you say something?
Well, right, yeah.
It's I've never smoked crack, but it's amazing the similarities that any addiction has.
Oh,
like when you're talking about, protect it, right. I knew I had to go to work, so I knew when I got out of work that I could meet this guy. He was near, and then I could do this. We arrange our whole life around it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but alcohol's the same way.
It is. It really
right.
is. I think
Any
all
addiction.
addictions are.
It is.
And then you lie about it, and then you hide it, and then you try to manage it.
Right.
And at some point in your life, it just gets really fucking dark, right?
Yes.
And so you had a big turning point.
I did.
Dad.
Yes. Yeah. That was a lot of it because I didn't want to believe that he was gone.
Right.
And it didn't even hit me until they said, okay, you got to say goodbye. We're closing the casket. That's it. You're never seeing him again.
Right.
That's when it hit me.
Right.
I walked away from everybody and went somewhere else to cry because I don't cry in front of people. I don't cry at all. And that it didn't hit me until then that he was not coming back.
You were close to Dad? Okay.
Kinda,
but it's just a parent.
Yes, but like, he had Alzheimer's dementia since 2019.
Yeah.
He didn't really talk anymore. It's not like any of us really had that relationship.
Sure.
It's like I wish he could have told the stories or this
it's just
or that.
it's just the end of the final end of something, right?
Yes.
And when you grew up as a little kid with your dad, I mean, my father was an alcoholic. He died of cirrhosis, and we were never like really tight. But I remember I went up to the hospital when they called me and said, if you want to see your father for the last time, you should come up now. And I went up there and I saw him, and it was bad, And my mother said, well, you go see your father. I'm going to go downstairs and smoke a cigarette because he had to walk out of the hospital. And I went downstairs after seeing him, and I felt okay.
Yeah.
And then I walked up to my mother, and I just like broke down in tears.
Yeah.
And I like, where the fuck did that come from? But it was that finality.
Yeah. You're alone in the universe,
here's
right?
this guy that, I knew, first guy I knew,
right.
Right. And there were good times, when I was little. And it just hit me. It was an unstoppable thing. Yeah. And my mother was like, why are you crying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
There was just something about it. I couldn't even define it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my father wasn't suffering anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
same thing with mine.
Yeah, he
Right.
wasn't suffering anymore, so we were kind of glad that he was gone, but it still hurt that he, you know.
There's a loss. Even if you can't explain why, like for me, I was in disbelief that I was crying. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is this coming from.
Yeah.
But it was there.
Yeah. So that kind of got things really ramped up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just,
Definitely
whenever I
wanted to
could
escape then.
Yeah. So whenever like we'd have to go to the wake, we have to go to lunch, whatever. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go.
Yep.
But even Sam and I'm not living at my house, and then I have a roommate now. Well, it doesn't stop my mother and all them from just popping in whenever.
Can you call before you come, please?
Yeah.
No, it's like I had no space or privacy, like ever. That was part of my problem too.
Well, when you're trying to escape, you don't want anybody coming to visit.
No.
Yeah.
But they literally, like, everybody knew the code. I was like, I gotta change that damn code.
I would say
I'm not giving
those
anybody
are,
damn keys
those
anymore.
are some higher power winks, maybe.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I had no space. Yeah. I had no privacy. I had nothing in it.
From a very early age, you experienced that, having kids earlier, right? And all that.
And then living at my parents' house, having two sisters, and we all shared the same room.
Yeah,
I never really
so
had.
that's a common thing.
Yeah.
So, what was the turning point or the catalyst for you to seek help?
Yeah.
So I was just getting bad. I got fired from my job May 3rd, 2024. I worked at a rehab for 8.5 years.
No
How
shit.
about that?
Yeah,
Nice.
Nobody knew
Yeah, that's crazy.
that I was using.
Wow.
Because I'm that good.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly.
Nobody knew.
You're a real gem.
That's why we got fired.
That's not why I got fired.
Oh.
Wow.
I didn't get fired because of that.
Plot twist.
It was like a policy thing that I did.
Gotcha.
I did something else, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't like that," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever," and they fired me. But it had nothing to do with the drugs or alcohol or anything like that. They didn't even know.
Interesting. Wow.
So now I got fired, and I got home that day, and I got my drugs. It's a Friday. I got my drugs, so I'm sitting there doing drugs, whatever, and I was like, "Okay, now what am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
Now what do you do? I was like, "I'm gonna sue them." That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sue them.
Right.
But, I just did drugs Friday, Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then who shows up at my house but my sisters, my mother, my daughter. Like, I just smoked some.
Ooh.
I'm in the garage, and don't they all show up? And now we're all in the garage talking. I'm like, get the fuck out.
Were they doing an intervention?
Yes.
Oh.
So you got intervened while you were high. That's
Oh,
not
God.
uncommon though.
No.
Well, they
Because
didn't know I was high.
Because you're always getting high.
Well, true.
So it'd be hard to do it when
True.
you weren't high.
They didn't know I was
And they
high.
didn't know you were at that time.
No.
Oh, my Lord.
So what happens in the intervention?
They're just like, my daughter's like, if you don't go to rehab, you can't see us anymore or the grandchildren.
Oh.
And they all knew it was crack?
I had to kind of tell them
Okay.
because they didn't really know. Like, my sister was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, they don't even know what it is. So,
Were you slightly receptive to this message?
Nah, I was not really, but I just wanted them to leave. You know what I mean? Because I still had some stuff and I just wanted to get high. So
Yeah.
I kind of just wanted to leave.
Were they trying to get you to go to rehab?
Yes. So that was the way to get me to go to rehab. So I just told my daughter, I was like, I'll think about it. My mother's like, I love you, whatever, this, that. I'm like...
In your mind, did you think, I need to do this?
I kind of did because of the fact, but I didn't think of it then.
Right.
It was like, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Just give me a
And
couple
you
days.
actually did.
Give me a couple days. I need to think about it.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to face it.
Of course.
But I knew if I kept doing it, I would do it till I died.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew that was going to happen.
You had that foresight.
Because the more you smoke and everything, what it does to your lungs, your breathing,
Yeah.
it's like 100,000 times worse than smoking cigarettes. It's like, yeah, like there would be times I had puffers. Like I'm doing
Yeah.
crack and then I'm
Open
doing my
your lungs
puffer.
back up.
Yeah, because I can't, like, it does something to your lungs. Like it's,
Well, it's
But
just
you
complete chemicals.
yeah, but I don't know what it did to mine. It
Yeah.
just was like, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even walk up the stairs. I was like, what the fuck? I can't even breathe. Like,
Yeah.
but I still want to do it. Like,
Right. But you knew that there would be an end.
I knew there was going to be some sort of end. I didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll think about it. And I said, my daughter's like, I already got you in a rehab. I'm like, how the fuck you get me in a rehab? She's like, well, remember the other day when I asked you for your insurance card? I said, yeah, you were going to help me get free insurance. She goes, I lied.
She's crafty.
Yeah.
She knew some guy that worked at the bar that was a recovering alcoholic, and he worked at rehab in Pennsylvania. So she gave him my insurance card, and they already had a spot for me.
Yeah, they can do that.
So I was already ready to go. And if I knew my insurance was going to pay for it 100%, I could have went anywhere in the freaking world.
Damn, right? Yeah.
I should have known it's a rehab. I should have known that.
28-day vacation.
Oh, yeah.
So you said yes, I'll go, right?
Well, I didn't say yes then.
Took you a while?
Well, it took me a few days. So that was Sunday. So I finished up all that. Monday and Tuesday, I'm clear-headed. So I'll think about it. So I tell my daughter, I'm like, yeah, I'll go. What else I got? Might as well. I'm not working right now.
Right.
And well, plus, I owed my daughter money and this and that. And I was behind on my bills. And they are all like, well, we'll pay all your bills.
Oh, damn.
You're like, this is too good to be true.
I know. So now I didn't have to pay any bill.
I think I could use an intervention. Can they come over?
Yeah. So,
I just need a money intervention.
So I owed, my daughter money. She's like, I'll forget all that.
Wow.
We'll forget this, forget that. My mother's
Very
like,
generous.
So
They're just trying to save your life, right?
Yeah.
So
Clean.
my mother paid my bills till August.
Wow.
So you go to rehab,
I did.
right? Did you detox first?
At rehab?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went in on a Friday, and by Sunday I had my room.
Okay. All right. And is this the first you've ever experienced any kind of recovery work, 12 steps, anything like that?
Yeah.
Were they a 12-step program based, or were they something different?
They had, meetings.
Did they talk about the 12-step program while you were there?
We read some things, but I don't know if it was the 12-step thing.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think
I
it
was
was.
just curious.
I think
Some
it was.
aren't. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it was.
Yeah, okay.
It was strange for me. I felt degraded.
Yeah.
I felt like, oh my God, and I had surgery on March 1st, and I had a special diet,
Oh.
and they were trying to accommodate that, but not accommodating that, and I just had a lot of obstacles in rehab.
Was there a turning point in rehab where you were starting to think, I need this? This is good for me?
Yes.
Okay.
I was there a week. Not even a week. I got there on a Friday, and Thursday night, I woke up, and I couldn't move my head, my neck. Couldn't move it at all. I had a pain shooting down my arm into my shoulder and my neck. Now everybody's trying to talk to me, and I'm like, if you want to talk to me, you got to come around and stand in front of me because I couldn't move my neck at all.
Huh.
I had this pain. I must have slept wrong or something. I don't know. For the first 5 nights I was there, I didn't sleep. So, and I take medicine to sleep, and I didn't sleep. I'd sleep 2 hours at a time, an hour at a time. So I'd be just up there in the night smoking cigarettes. I never smoked so much cigarettes in my life because that's all I was doing. It was crazy. But there was a turning point. There was a girl there. She was 24 years old, and she ran the rehab for 10 days. They let this girl run the rehab for 10 days. It was horrible. She was mean, starting fights with people. Yeah, I kind of stayed clear of them. I'm like, I'm here for a different reason. In my head, I was like, these people are going to be here back.
Yeah, quickly.
10, 20 times or
Yep.
be dead.
Yep.
I'm one and done. I had
so
to
you had that resolve. You were going to be a one
I
and
had
doner.
to pull myself away from all that
Yeah.
immaturity that even the older people would go to this because it was like we were in
Drama.
high school.
Drama.
Because one day we were sitting there and I said, are we in high school or are we in rehab? This is ridiculous. So I just kind of did
Buckled
my
down?
Yeah. I wrote letters to my kids every day.
Wow.
I haven't read them. I mailed it to them. So every day I was writing them a letter, and I mailed them. And then they gave them all back to me. But I haven't been able to pick them up to read them
okay.
yet.
In time.
Yeah. And then rehab made us write a letter to ourselves. Our
Right.
3 months out. I haven't opened that and read that one either. Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. But I was just kind of like explaining how I was feeling to my kids.
Yep.
You know, what was going on in my head, my heart. You know, how I was trying to enjoy nature. Like I was listening to nature again. So my first night in rehab, so I get there, and then the morning I'm sitting outside because nobody's up, because I'm up early because I don't really sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out there smoking cigarettes, and all I see on the roof was 2 robins fighting. And I could hear my father screaming in my head. Are you going to wake the fuck up? Are you going to stay with your mother? Or are you going to join me?
Damn.
2 mornings in a row, I see the same 2 robins, same message in my head. And I had to make a decision, and I made a decision to stay with my mother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's easy to get me.
You
That
had a
might
bit
have
of a
got me.
spiritual experience.
Yeah.
That's
You
cool.
know, your higher power was speaking to you.
Way to
But
go.
I didn't
Way to
know
go,
that
Dad.
at that time.
Right.
I did not know that at the time. I was just like, and then I did meditation. And the first, like, I wanted my father to speak to me, but I could feel him. But yeah, I did that twice, meditation. I love meditation. I never thought it would like affect me like that.
I know an expert of that in here.
Until you experience it, you don't understand it.
No.
But the first time, I remember the first time I experienced it, I got just a taste of where I wanted to be. You know, that where you feel completely relaxed and you feel very connected with everything, and you're like, it's almost like you're experiencing your higher power in its pure form.
Yeah, but
And so-
I didn't know that at the time
Yeah.
Well, no,
either.
right.
But when you get a little taste of that, you're like, I want more of that.
It mended my broken heart. Like, I literally left that session for the first time. I've never done it before. I was like, oh my God, my heart was not broken anymore from my father being gone and what my granddaughter did to me. Like, she broke my heart too. And it was just mended. And I have stomach issues. And every time I do meditation, it's trying to heal my stomach.
Yeah,
in
it's
this
all
weird,
about-
in
yeah.
this weird way, but it doesn't heal my stomach. I want it to heal my stomach, but it won't.
Yeah,
So
right.
you have
like-
it, but you did have a healing experience in there.
Yeah, like my heart was literally not broken anymore. And I was at peace with my father not being here. So,
Yeah, and when you're actively using a drug or alcohol, that is impossible. You're never going to get that. You're never.
I've
gonna
never
get that
had
healing.
that before.
Right, because you're running from it. You're
Yes.
running from that stuff. So they say, face everything and recover, or fear everything and run.
Well, when you're meditating, you're hyper conscious of your body, like everything within you. When you're escaping through drugs, there is
All right,
nothing.
like you said, I just wanted to numb.
Yeah,
I just
and
wanted
that's
to
what you
numb it.
got.
No,
Yeah,
that's what I got.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want anything in here
Right.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't.
So you have this experience in rehab, and how long were you there for? 28 days or longer?
21, because my
21.
insurance
Oh.
ended.
21
And
days.
they're like, we'll give you 2 weeks on scholarship. I said, you can take your scholarship and stick it up your ass because I'm leaving.
Okay.
I'm leaving.
So do you have a plan when you leave? Do you plan to go to meetings?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so you get out, you come back-
90 meetings in 90 days, they
Oh,
said.
okay.
I remember when she
All
came in;
right,
she was
all
pretty
right.
strong on that.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's a
out-
great way to do
Yeah.
it.
I literally was out to meet as many people as I could. I was getting out of rehab to go network myself.
That's fantastic.
It was too. It was so cool to see because I would see
Like
her
I
popping
went
up in meetings.
to I was in Beeville. I'm in
A lot of people can't
sorry.
do that. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
no.
They don't have
I'm
that.
in all these different meetings all around
That's
everywhere.
a huge advantage.
But I didn't like I had so many numbers, but I didn't do that part of it. I was like
The
couldn't-
phone call thing?
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, but
right
you were
yet.
doing it every day, so you were still
Oh
around.
God,
there,
I
right?
did. Sometimes I was 2-3 meetings a day. I was.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
Somebody
you-
was telling me like I was there like what 3-4 months. And they're like, you're doing too much recovery. And I'm like, what is too much recovery?
Yeah, right. Seriously,
Like,
seriously.
I mean, I was chasing like anytime people were having picnics or get-togethers. Just I was there, just because I wanted to meet more people.
That's fantastic.
And I met so many people.
And your support group was huge all of a sudden.
It was.
Yeah.
I have a lot of support. I have a lot of friends.
Yes, you do.
I do. And I love it. I love it. I actually have a life.
What a striking contrast from
Yeah.
what you were trying to do get away from everybody, nobody visit me, and now it's just, you gotta love it, right? What this does. So have you been in the steps?
I've done it myself.
Yeah, see? You've been in the big book?
Oh, so when you came in, did you get a sponsor right away?
No, I asked like 4 people, and they told me no.
Oh.
I got denied, too, by Mark D.
4 people?
Number 1 episode. But anyways, no
Four
resentments.
people told me no.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
You were persistent.
Yeah.
And you finally got a sponsor.
I did. She's like, I'll be your temporary sponsor. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right.
So she did the steps with me. We did back to basics. We did one of the other meetings we went to where they do the buck study for just step 4. We did that.
Oh, so you went old school way, right through.
I'm
That's
not reading
back
that
to
book.
basics.
I don't read and comprehend. I'm not reading that book.
Oh.
I need the help from other people to get through that book.
Okay.
That's why I do book studies.
Well, me too. I didn't understand this program until
don't.
somebody read with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get more out of the book studies because then people are reading it and then they're explaining it. I'm like, oh, I didn't see it
100%.
that way.
100%.
So there's no way I'm still picking up that book and reading it.
Yeah, not on your own.
No.
Yeah.
But maybe
I
doing the
think
book
it's
study,
meant to be read with another person. I honest to God do.
I have a sponsee now, and I'm not reading her the book. I already told her.
Look at you.
I'm not reading the book.
Sponsoring
But we did back
Mark.
to basics. We did back to basics again. So going through that again, I was like, a few things did pop in my head that I forgot the first time I first up. I'm like, okay, that's
Every
fine.
time you do this with a sponsor, that's going to happen.
I know, but I was like, okay. But I'm like, I don't have to make amends to all that. It's just something I thought about. I'm like, okay, I didn't think about it then, but it's not really a big deal. Let it go.
Right.
I let it go.
Man, so you've been book studied, you've been through the steps. Now you're doing the ultimate.
Yes.
Step 12, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Whenever like you got to volunteer for something else, I offer. I did the fair last year a couple times. Anything I can do.
Yeah, Mark and I did that.
It was so much fun. I had
and
fun.
by the fair, we have a state fair, New York State Fair. So
we man a booth.
Yeah, AA has a booth there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We volunteered to man the booth before.
Yeah.
And it's always people walk up and go, I just need some information for a friend.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is okay.
That's fantastic, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
So, boy, your life must have just completely
like
taken a
things are
180.
better.
Yeah.
Oh God, I have a life now.
And
that's good.
how are things with your daughter and your granddaughter and all the people that were involved in that whole?
Everything's going good. My daughter, we go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because like a couple weeks ago, she said, was that thing that you were trying to do to me that months and months ago, was that an amends? And I said, yes. And she goes, well, why didn't I get to say anything? I said, you could have said something. You just didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was like, if you got something to say, just tell me.
Yeah, it's not too late.
Yeah.
No, but just tell me so we can
Time
work.
takes time.
I know.
Yeah.
I give her space. Put it that way. We go forward just for her to knock me back down. Mm-hmm. So I just leave it as it is, put up my boundaries, and take that step back until she approaches me
And where
again.
did you learn that?
Where did I learn all that?
Yeah.
AA.
Hey.
Yeah, we need.
She's looking at you like you're a dumbass. What do you mean?
We need that design for living. That's how he gets serenity in our lives, right? We handle things differently.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't react.
Because if I react,
I pay. Well, I do.
The message is clear.
So
Yes,
I
it
don't
is.
like. You know what? When I was having issues with my nephew, and he would text me, and I did react the first time,
Yeah.
and then I stopped.
takes practice.
And then I just said to him, "Thank you for letting me know how you feel." That's
Whoa,
my new,
yeah,
That's
right?
my new thing now. So when somebody texts me something and I don't like it, thank you for letting me know how you feel.
I heard you.
That's all I
Yeah.
say. I don't. There's nothing else I need to say. I have the last word, and I said it.
Yeah.
And then they don't know how to respond, and they don't respond back to me because
Well, it took all their power away because they're looking for a reaction.
So, but wait, you can't just say that.
No.
I do.
No,
that's
I
my
know.
new thing.
But
That's
they are almost
fantastic.
counting on you reacting, and that's
No,
what they do.
I don't. I don't
Wow.
react to that bullshit no more.
That's right.
No, it's
Even
about
my
love.
mother, when I want to put a point across to my family, so I'm bossy, this and that, I text from my mother's phone. So they think
Tricky.
So they think that she sent it.
You're very stealthy. I don't know if that's in the program,
Probably not.
But still,
but it's effective, right?
it is a very effective because my mother doesn't know she did it.
Well, we are at the end of our time with you, but we want to thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
the
it was
show.
great.
Very
Well,
good
thank you
stuff.
for having me.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So now you've spoken twice tonight, right? So Thank you for sharing that.
Yep. I have one more story.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh.
So when I was in rehab, they have like once a year they had the alumni come in or whatever, and it was a Friday night, and so this guy from Sublime was there, the drummer.
Really?
And so we were allowed to go, so I'm walking around, whatever, and nobody knew who he was. I didn't know what he looked like. It's not like we can Google it or anything. So I'm walking around, I'm talking, and this guy, I just happened to see this guy, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Hi, how are you doing?" I said, "I hate this place." I said, "If I had my car, I would have been out of here." And I said, "Everybody here probably would have jumped in my car, and we would have left." And he's like, "Why?" And I was telling him, about my pain situation, this and that. And he's like, "I'm glad you're here, this and that." And I was like, I go, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, I just drove by and I smelled barbecue, so I decided to crash the party." I'm like, "Oh, so you're just a party crasher guy or whatever?" And so then still didn't know who it was. So then I'm walking around and I talk to this other guy, and he happens to be the vice president she was the vice president of the rehab. I met the president. I'm talking to all these people, whatever. And then they go in and do their speaker thing. And I didn't go in there because I was in pain, so I sat outside. So then I go in to hear him talk or whatever, and I go in. Wasn't it the guy from Sublime? And that was him.
That's
and then I raised my hand. He's like, "Yeah, Michelle, what do you want?" And I said, "Oh, I thought you were just the party crasher guy."
Yeah, right.
So it was pretty cool that me and him just made that connection, and I impressed him.
Hey.
Just from me having a few words with him.
Yeah.
And then every time he was walking by or whatever, he'd be like, "Hey, Michelle." But didn't know anybody else's name but mine.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at you.
Yes.
And now you're the drummer of Sublime. Well, anyways, our time is now officially up. But until
That's
next time
awesome.
on the Glum Lot Podcast, I'm Mark.
I'm Brett.
I'm Michelle.
As we wrap up another episode of the Glum Lot Podcast, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who tuned in today. Navigating the path to recovery from alcohol and other substances is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and self-discovery. Remember, we're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, but we're here to provide a safe space for open conversations about the complexities of recovery. Your stories, courage, and resilience inspire us and our listeners alike. If you or someone you know is on the transformative journey, know that you're not alone. Join us next time as we continue to explore the diverse facets of recovery. Until then, stay strong, stay connected, and remember that each day is a step towards a brighter, sober tomorrow. Thank you for being part of the Glum Lot community.